This is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. That I really do believe that um, or maybe I've always been like, I guess, a pagan based person um, throughout my life. Starting as like a young child, probably around the age of like 8 or 9. I've always through my grandmother, who kind of first exposed me to like a little bit of the, I guess, witchcraft that she practiced, and um, just from there I started to um, really um, explore that like avenue secretly. I never really told anyone because of um, the religion that I was in, and um, grew up in. No one around me really ever talked about doing like witchcraft or like nature based um, worship, and like just throughout my life, secretly at times kind of doing it without really, planning it or knowing that I was doing it. I would go online and like look up things for look up articles, or look up like videos on um you know practices that I didn't know then. I thought maybe it was just something that people could do, um, because I was I was in a Christian based religion of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I had this like complete other unexplored side of me that would kind of at random points, um, take control, and I would just start doing these little weird rituals on my own, um, using either art or using like plants or whatever I would find out in my yard, and just kind of following like, sometimes I would follow like guides online, sometimes I would just do whatever I felt like that I should do with them, for like a ritual and like secret. And of course, when I would go to the Kingdom Hall, even though I would do these things in secret and never tell anyone about it, I would be questioned about it. And this would make me very scared. So I would just say, no, I didn't. And just go on like that. And as I got older, probably around, I want to say maybe like 19 or 20, I started hearing about this place called Wicca, and I didn't know what like Wicca was. And so I would go online and I would research things about Wicca, but I would never, like, you're like driving like down the road and you see like, I don't know, like some church, and like the name of the church would like be there, and like what type of Christians would be in that church. Like, I would never see that about Wicca. So I thought that Wicca was like this like super secret like online place, and like people would just do stuff and, you know, um post post about it sometimes. And I would go on forums and I would like read, but I would never like make an account because I was always afraid to, because you, I didn't want to lose contact with my family. But at the same time, like, you know, I didn't believe in like any of the um, stuff that I was taught in the Jehovah's Witness organization. Like, I would sit there, I would read their articles, and I would read the Bible, and, you know, go to the church and make comments and get parts in the church. But I never really felt like that I was like a part of that. I just felt like that I had to do that because that's what was um, forced upon me um, from always, because that's what I was born into. So as I started following Wicca, and I would go online and I would research witches, and I would look at like some of the stuff that like witches would do, and then I would go and I would try and like do some of the stuff um that like the witches did, because every time that I would like I felt like that I would, you know, pray about something to to uh to um to Jehovah, you know, I never really saw any like benefits to that, and it didn't feel like that I was actually going anywhere um with that. And like the more and more and more that I would do it, the worse that like I felt. But every time I would do something that, you know, that like, I don't know, some like witch did, or something that I read from somewhere, something someone posted from like Wicca, I would like go and like do that. And then later on, like, you know, like if I did something for like protection, or maybe if I saw someone that was in the Kingdom Hall and they would do something or be going through something, like I would go and I would make some like um you know, look up something that could be used in Wicca to like help that person. Like, I would set my like intentions um to that, and that felt like really good to me. Like, I felt like really happy, but at the same time, like, I would never ever ever talk about it, um because elders in the Jehovah's Witness organization would walk up to me and like question me about this stuff, and I would just be like, you know, like, I don't know, like, um and then they would just, you know, um go away. And then later on, I would you know, continue to practice things that I've heard and read in Wicca. And of course, secretly. And it is the same things would like happen again, and they would come and like question me about it. And I never knew how they knew like when I did stuff, but, you know, of course, like, I'm not telling them because um they don't believe in it. And if you do something that they don't believe, then they would punish you or like shame you for it, and let other members in the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses know, and then they would shame you for it even more. And then just, you know, go down the line, and eventually you're an outcast. And that's how it ended up being for me. Like, I was just a complete outcast there, but I would still go there because I wanted to be able to speak um, to to my family. And, you know, like I said, riding down the road, or even, you know, going on like road trips to like different places in America, to like different states, like up and down the East Coast, I would never see anything about Wicca. I never knew anything about Wicca, as far as like a physical based establishment. So I'm like, you know, maybe like Wicca around here is frowned upon because I live in a Bible built state, and like Christianity is like heavily enforced. And sometimes I would be at work, you know, and I never worked with a lot of other Jehovah's Witnesses. So like sometimes I would go up to into work, and sometimes I would try to talk to people about Wicca, and that would be like frowned upon, and I never understood why that was like frowned upon. Like, you know, like I'm not in I'm not at like the Kingdom Hall trying to talk about Wicca. Like I'm out with other people, and you know, I just wanted to like talk about it, and they really didn't like that, and I never understood why. And then um you know, going throughout my 20s, like I always just felt very isolated and like alone, because everything that I wanted to do, it always seemed frowned upon and like pushed back on. Um, but there was something about, you know, looking up at the moon and like telling the moon like everything that you want in life, and telling the moon like your goals um, and your intentions, and what you wanted to really like get out of life. And then, you know, hearing like the mental guide for that, and then just following it. And then, you know, sometimes some people that I didn't know, like in the mental space, would like come up and like give me guides and tell me like, hey, like you need to like do this for like Wicca. And I would ask them like, where are you? And they would say, we can't tell you. um and so that's just like how it was. So I would do what the people would tell me to do, uh for Wicca. And um like stuff would start coming to um fruition. And then the more stuff that I did for Wicca, the more that the people and the Jehovah's Witnesses would like dislike me. And I kind of like that more, because I didn't really agree with any of their beliefs, but I had to be in there because I would lose access to my family. So it's just like, all right, well, I'll just go and just be hated by people who physically, you know, saw me. Um, and I was like, okay with that, because, you know, like, um, because I could, you know, I could look up to the moon, or I could walk up to like a tree and just like express myself freely. to those entities. And that was like okay because um because the moon is always there. And the trees are always there. And the dumbass opinions of the people that I was forced to be around and go to so I could have contact with my family didn't fucking matter to me. And so that's what I did. And and um that would be how I would go through life. And whenever I would look up like spells or um guides on like what to do, I would always try to remember them because at the time I was still living with my parents. I think I lived with my parents up until I was like 24. Um, and then I had moved out, and sometimes like um, other people who I knew were Christians, but they were not Jehovah's Witnesses. They would come up to me and just say like really just nasty, disgusting things to me. Um, so I would have to deal with that like at work and also being in the religion. Um, but I was just like, this is just how like life would be. And um, sometimes people would come up to me and they're like, hey, like maybe you shouldn't be in there because maybe you're like a pagan. And everything that I've ever heard about pagans was like bad. Um, that pagans were like bad people. Um, so um, I never like understood like what pagan was or what what a pagan did. Um, and um, I thought like maybe these people are trying to trick me because they didn't like me. And then I would just keep going to going to uh, you know, look at sites, look for guides for, like, to have to have positivity in your life through like nature-based worship, and have people, or have look up, um spells that I could do, um to see like what I needed to do for the things that I wanted in life to come to um fruition. And um I I ended up recently I ended up going to Charlotte, just to take a trip there, because I wanted to like just get out of the house, because I'd been in the house um um for so long. And after I came back from Charlotte, I found this thing from Wicca, and it was like this guide for all these different, I guess they were like schools in Wicca, um like schools for, hold on, do I have it saved here? I need to look if I have it saved. um yeah, like I would look up like guides for like to like find covens like in my state. um and I ended up finding one, and I ended up finding, uh, a podcast, because before this, like, I would only, look up forums, or look up something that would be um on Reddit, um um for just stuff that, that people in Wicca would do, because it would always work for me. And I always felt that people in Wicca were, like, really smart. Um, so I ended up finding a podcast called like Pagan Coffee Talk, and like just hearing what these people had to say, like I just felt like that I was like um at home there. Uh, it's not like, you know, it's not like it didn't feel like foreign to me. It was something that once I heard it, like I just instantly um, understood it. It just instantly clicked with me. Um, but growing, you know, in life, just always being around Christians, and having to like um hide who I was, or be kicked out for it, um and lose all access to my family, was, it just seemed like death for me, which, I mean, eventually that's what ended up happening. But um you know all the better for it, because now I found something that I feel like um is home to me. And when people talk about, what they do for for worship, um it makes sense to me. And it sucks that my back is like hurt so bad, because Um, I like I've done it before with like little rocks, but like I really want to go and like make like a circle with like bigger rocks like in my yard, but I'm not able to because it just hurts so bad. And um really wish that this pain would just go away, and so I could continue um doing what I'm learning right now. Um but yeah, um that has like been my life in relation to Wicca, and most of it has been like I never like contacted anyone because um witchcraft was severely frowned upon, or I guess nature-based worship was looked at as witchcraft, and that was like severely frowned upon from what I was born into. And having um, being able to like remember what my grandmother used to teach me, um, I'm really thankful for that. Um, because I guess that was like my start as like being a pagan, I guess. And eventually my parents um did end up finding out about it, and this was like after I had moved out and like left their house, and um they like immediately like wanted to sit down with me and like talk with me to try and like get me away from it. But I was like, I've never felt anything more true than what I practiced from from Wicca. And um like other like Christians that were not part of Jehovah's Witnesses would, and that I would work with, like, because I would talk to them about it, but I didn't know that like they were Christians, and they would like get like upset about it and try to get me to like go to their church, and I would never um go to their church because I didn't like it. And um so like trying to have like a like trying to like connect with other people was always like um a strain for me. um but yeah, that's been my relationship with um religion since I was a child, and I don't feel like like bad about it or guilty for it, because just doing something that you feel like you should do is better than you know is better than being forced into doing something that you don't really have your heart set into. um and yeah, if you're like in a setting where you're maybe you do something similar to what I have done, like look something up and go for like what you feel like is natural, I guess, to do, because I just feel like that worship should be natural, should have a natural feeling to it, like something that shouldn't feel like it's like imposed upon you that you must do it, um, or that's like forced upon you, because it just robs you of life. Anyway, that's all.